systems fail and the sky falls with them, voices will rise from the static. This is the Network Failure Podcast.
I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger. What is going on, people? Welcome to the Network Failure, where we rake through the lies and the filth that the beast provides, and we just try to get to some of the sense of it. And none of this is making any sense, right? Right. All right, so we got a little surprise here. I have for you guys Ron from New England of the Wicked Planet podcast. I know I've been talking about him for a while, so please welcome Ron from New England. What's going on, Ron?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm very happy that we're making this happen.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's very nice to finally get hooked up with you. We've talked a lot on online and stuff for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it just happened to work out good. We could get together tonight, and we're going to chop it up a little bit, whatever you want to talk about. And hopefully
we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. Before we get started, would you mind telling the listeners a little bit about yourself if they haven't listened to your podcast, where they could find you, a little history?
Yeah, sure. I'm real easy to find. I do a lot on Instagram. Instagram's kind of my main thing. You can find me there at the Ron from New England page or the Wicked Planet podcast page. I have the two pages. And in the Wicked Planet podcast, we've been around since I think early 2021. And we've been going for it ever since. I mean, of course, back in the day, we went pretty heavy on the COVID agenda, and then that just evolved. And I really like doing current events. I mean, we have people on, we talk about certain subjects, and we also get into a lot of biblical scripture stuff, how it pertains to conspiracy theories or how it pertains to extraterrestrial contact, and it's just a lot of weird stuff. And also, I've had guests on. We've been talking a lot about the interpretation of scripture, and also we've been talking a lot about the Apocrypha. You know, the books that weren't put into the Bible. So we've been talking a lot about that, and I've been researching the Gnostic texts, which is super interesting. It's like Christian mysticism.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what Kabbalah is to Judaism. Gnosticism is similar to Christianity, and I can see why they didn't let it in the Bible.
Yeah.
Of course, it's considered heresy, but anyways, those are some of the subjects that we get into on Wicked Planet. I mean, it's never the same thing twice in a row. And
no, definitely not.
And sometimes we go full tilt and make the show funny. Other times the show takes a little bit of a dark turn, or sometimes it takes a little bit of a serious turn. So I think kind of changing it up is good. The listeners kind of like that. I want the listeners to get bored, so we give them a little bit of everything. And of course, I really like current events. So, but yeah, Jack, thanks for, and if anybody wants to email me, just email the Wicked Planet Podcast at gmail.com. Easy peasy. And if you got any questions or whatever, just go ahead and reach out. I love getting emails and comments from the listeners or your listeners or anything like that. I'm very easy like that. And I will get back to everybody. Sometimes it takes me a while, but I will get back to everybody.
We will get back to you. That's true. That is very true. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to switch it up a little here. Normally, it's just me. I fly solo, and, it's just me running through the news. And I think that it would be really fun if I could have you as a co-host. So
Sure.
We're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to play around on the internets. All right. Have you seen this one? I'm going to get this thing started. Check this out.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor and had to do with the Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. I did post it, and I thought it was me.
He is too much.
You know?
What do you think of that?
Well, okay, so I just saw this post probably about 20 minutes before we came on the air. And I gotta say, whoever called him out for posting a picture of himself depicted as Jesus Christ, I mean, they were pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Because in the picture, it's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah, there's no doctor wearing flowing robes like that.
No.
Sorry.
So listen, for disclosure, I've always been a Trump supporter, right?
Yeah, same
I mean,
here.
and I still support him, although I got to question like what's going on, because it's just, you know, the one thing I've always said about Trump, and I've said it all the way back to 2016, actually before 2016, is sometimes he just needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Stay off of social media. I mean, he's got kicked off of every social media. That's why he started Truth Social.
Yeah,
so he could run his mouth with free reign.
I think they're intentionally letting him do that.
Oh, I do too.
know?
I think it's all by design.
Yeah,
because you know, he is the ultimate troll. I will give him that, like, for sure. He loves to troll people, but
the funniest of all time.
His trolling gets a little out of hand.
Yeah. Like telling a whole civilization that they were going to get wiped out in one night.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think he was bluffing either, though.
Yeah, he's like, like some of the shit that he's listening to, or the ideas that he's coming up with, is just, it's crazy. But did you see any of this stuff? For some reason.
Oh my God! Hey, hold on.
Guys over here. What's up,
Jack? Hold up. Do you see who posted this? Missing the point.
Oh yeah. This is Drew Missing.
Yeah, you know Drew.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's freaking funny. I didn't notice that before, but if you look at this picture that Drew had posted, Trump is saying that he wanted to look like a doctor. Okay, I'm sorry, but in this picture, it clearly looks like he's placing his hand on this dude's head like he's healing him, like Jesus Christ healed the leper, say, for instance, or whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a little overboard. He's got angels and shit in the background.
Is that the doctor's flashlight? Like, what's the light coming out of the hand?
Yeah, dude, that's a little much.
Now, what's up with this stuff? For some reason, there's an original of this image, and the administration went and changed it to be this tri-horned figure with wings in the middle. I don't know if it's this post that has the original. There's the original. Nope, that's not the original. But Drew was mentioning that the man in the bed resembles who's that? JFK Jr., right?
Yeah, that's JFK Jr., yeah. Is it supposed to be depicting him as some form of archangel? Because we've all heard the conspiracy theorists that he's not dead, that he's gonna come back. But I'm telling you right now,
that's what they're trying to lean into with this.
He crashed a fucking plane into the Atlantic Ocean headed to Cape Cod. He's dead.
he's not around anymore. I'm gonna read what Drew wrote, because it was very well put here. At face value, the image comes across as highly self-aggrandizing. Trump is depicted in a Christ-like role, appearing to heal or restore another figure. That kind of imagery isn't subtle. It draws directly on religious symbolism to elevate his status and suggest authority or even a kind of messianic identity. The person being healed also stands out. He closely resembles John F. Kennedy Jr., especially when compared to widely circulated age-progressed images. That resemblance feels intentional. Given Kennedy Jr.'s significance in certain online communities, QAnons, This could be seen as a nod to those audiences playing to the idea that he is still alive and connected to Trump in some way, as you were just mentioning, still alive.
Well, that's been rolling around for years at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he's still around though.
No, I don't think he is. I think Epstein's still alive, and I have a feeling I have a feeling that Charlie Kirk is still alive too. But
I heard you say that.
These are unpopular opinions, but we're conspiracy theorists, right, Jack? So
definitely
we have to.
I think
we have to. We got to say what we're thinking.
Yeah, I think there's a great possibility.
Yeah.
That Charlie Kirk
Drew's
is still
not wrong.
running around.
Drew is not wrong. And let me tell you something about Drew. He is very analytical, and he says what he means, and he's not fond of Trump. He's never been.
No.
And
not at all.
And I have zero problem with that, because I really respect Drew Misson and I respect his work. He's a great guy.
Yeah, it's anybody that's ever heard me mention missing the point, or I think it's You're Missing the Point. That's what the podcast that we're talking about, Drew Misson from Missing the Point. Yeah, I would love to have him on.
Yeah, I've done a few shows with Drew. I mean, I haven't talked to Drew in probably quite a while now. Doing shows with Drew was a little challenging because of the massive time difference.
Right, exactly. All right, what do I got next in the chamber? Okay, now, I don't know, the listeners know, I don't know if you know, in the beginning, I believed Trump to possibly be the Antichrist. And I still voted for him. So what does that mean? I don't know. Now, when I voted, I had been steered away into not thinking so much that it was him, with various proofs and whatnot. But all the stuff that's going on now, it's starting to look a little more like maybe I was correct, until I saw this Instagram post right here. And this is from Free Indeed 836. Now, they lean into Trump possibly being the Antichrist, but they go even deeper. Ready? Check it out.
Whose face is on the temple coin for the third temple that's about to happen in Jerusalem?
King Cyrus and Donald Trump.
Who is King Cyrus?
King Cyrus is the Persian king who gave the right to Israel to rebuild their temple. So Trump is basically fulfilling that same role as King Cyrus did.
And did you know that the Israel Heritage Foundation gave Donald Trump the Prince of Peace Award after he brokered the Abraham Accords? And then again in 2023, they gave him the Crown of Jerusalem.
So he's making a lot of peace in the Middle East, right?
Are the people of Jerusalem expecting that Trump is going to herald in the rebuilding of the blasphemous Third Temple?
Yes.
The beast in Revelation has 10 horns, but one stands out among them all. What is so special about the one horn?
It's boastful and speaks blasphemy.
And what does a horn generally symbolize?
A king.
And who is incredibly braggadocious and proud?
It's gonna be the best wall ever.
I'm never gonna see a temple like this. It's gonna never be done. They said it could never be done.
But Donald Trump's name, if you use gematria, doesn't add up to a special 3-digit number, does it, Tati?
It does not. That's why we are not making any crazy prophecy here. We are just telling you what our two eyes see. Is the crowned King Cyrus about to bring in the building of the Third Temple, which will bring in a certain 3-digit number, which is the name. The number equals the name of a man.
And what man is very close to Donald Trump who may have that number, Tati?
Mr. J. Kushner, who was also integral in bringing about the Abraham Accords, and is now the special envoy for the Board of Peace in the Middle East.
So you're saying that there's something going on with this Kushner guy. What building on Fifth Ave does he also own?
He owns 666 Fifth Avenue.
Wow.
The #1 most expensive real estate purchase in American history.
He paid a lot of money for that specific building because he wanted that number because he knew that it was for his name.
Who is heading up the rebuilding of Gaza?
Jared Kushner.
Where is Gaza?
In between Jerusalem and the sea.
Where does Daniel 11:45 say that the Antichrist will make his tent?
In between Jerusalem and the sea. We're not making any claims.
This is not a prophecy. Just saying, a lot of things are adding up. A lot of things. Things you want to believe. They never thought we could add this many things up in such a short amount of time.
Maranatha, come back Christ. Also, you're not getting raptured.
Who's
All right. I played that on my last episode, so apologies for the repeat, folks, but I liked it. It was a good one, and it's my show, so there. I said it.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on this post a little bit from my my limited knowledge on the Third Temple, but I don't believe anywhere in Scripture it says anything about a third temple. Now there's been a lot of
that either.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about the red heifers. I'm sure you're familiar with that, and how all these other things are being put into place to enable the construction of the third temple. But the third temple, and I'm trying to get this right, is supposed to be ushering in the Messiah. I could be wrong on that, but
it would
here's
be the Jewish Messiah, which would be the Christian Antichrist, right?
I'm not sure on that, Jack.
And it would be the Muslim. I forget the name. It's like Mahdi. I think I have a clip referring to that as well.
Okay, well, the Mahdi is a deity that is supposed to come back in, and they talk about that in Islamic eschatology. So and I don't know that much about it, but eschatology, for the listeners that might not be familiar, is basically end times prophecy is what that is. So that's just a technical name for it. Now, let's look at what's taken place to lead us up to this point. So Trump, even though he does say that he's a Christian, and I want to say, again, not 100% sure, but I want to say that when he was in his military academy, he was in a group of Jesuits. So he would have been a Jesuit or is a Jesuit.
That's what I
also wonder, and I'm thinking a lot of other people also do, is whether or not Trump is actually a converted to Judaism person.
I was looking at that today because he didn't put his hand on the Bible at his 2025 inauguration. Everyone was saying he converted in between, because in 2016 he did swear in on the Bible.
Right, so that would be very interesting. But let's look at what he did do. He got the capital of Israel moved from, I want to say, Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Now, if you look at a map of Israel, we all know, or all should know, where Gaza is located. It's down in the far southwest corner of Israel. To me, Gaza was nothing more than an open air prison, right? But when you see the location of Jerusalem, Jerusalem is smack dab in the middle of the West Bank. And the West Bank is also the land that was set aside for the Palestinians. Now, when you look at a map, you can see there's a stretch of land that goes from Israel straight into the West Bank, and then a big circle around Jerusalem So Jerusalem is in the West Bank, but it's not part of the property that was supposed to be set aside for the Palestinians. But Jerusalem is also supposed to be open to all the three Abrahamic religions, meaning Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Now, on the top of what is supposed to have been the second temple after it was sacked, and I want to say it was sacked by the Romans. I don't, oh, okay, so I'm trying to remember if it was sacked by the Romans the first time or the second time. I think the first time it was sacked by the Babylonians, and the second time it was sacked by the Romans.
I think you're right.
And yeah, there's the map. It kind of shows it. The map looks a little different than this one's as of 2018. Okay, so in order for that to happen, now listen, Jack, there's a lot of talk that, the Wailing Wall, the wall that all the presidents and all the congressmen and all anybody that's ever thinks they're going to get elected in the United States has to go make an
wall.
Yeah, they have to go make an appearance there, right? And they got to kiss the wall.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually talk that wasn't part of the temple at all, that it was part of a Roman garrison.
I heard something like that, yeah.
So that's really interesting if the listeners kind of want to get into that. But in order for the third temple to even be remotely built on this location, that means that the Al-Aqsa temple would have to be destroyed.
Right.
And that is one of the most holy places in Islam. I mean, besides Mecca and besides Medina, which are both in Saudi Arabia.
That would start some serious shit.
So the Al-Aqsa Mosque is open to everybody. And it is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you've seen pictures of the inside or anything.
No.
But it's also known as the Temple of the Rock. And that rock is where supposedly Muhammad ascended into heaven to go with Allah from that rock. And the mosque was built around that rock. Very similar to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where the tomb of Jesus Christ is, you know what I mean? So it's obviously very, very important territory to the Muslims. Now, what do you think would happen if the Jews said, okay, we're going to build our third temple. We're going to have to get rid of the Al-Aqsa Mosque to make that happen? You mean to tell me that's not going to start some form of huge battle, some war?
Huge holy war.
Yeah. And that's why I honestly don't think, not in our lifetime, that we will see the building of the third temple. I just don't. I don't even know how it would be even feasible or possible without there being a major battle.
I don't know if they care anymore if there's a major battle.
Well, I certainly understand that.
It doesn't seem like anybody cares anymore if there's a major battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, it's one of those things where you have the three Abrahamic religions. Of course, we just talked about that: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. They all come from Abraham in one form or another. But I think it would be best if they just left it alone. There's no reason to build. What is the reason to build the third temple? So that they can usher in their Messiah, the Jewish Messiah?
Just to fulfill a prophecy. That would be the only reason.
Yeah. And I mean, and they would be doing a sacrifice of the red heifer, which is sacrificing a living animal, which is not supposed to be a thing. Definitely not a thing in Christianity. But
You're
but
not
we
worried
also
about it.
we've also heard a lot of stories about how poorly the Christians are treated in Jerusalem. Now, we don't know. We're not there every day, but I've seen a lot of videos kind of showing that. But I mean, the Jewish folks over there, they're pretty freaking radical as I, especially when you're talking to Hasidic Jews, like the ones with the black robes and the curly hair and the black top hats. But getting back to Trump and even Kushner. Kushner is an ultra Zionist.
Oh yeah.
He's Trump's son-in-law.
Yeah.
And not only that, his father was a bigwig in the Israeli government, and
Netanyahu slept over his house.
his father was personal friends and came up through the ranks with Netanyahu.
Yeah.
So
They were
these guys are
sleepover
all
buddies.
tied in. Yeah, all these guys are all tied into each other. So, I mean, how Trump is acting right now is he's acting like a Zionist. So I would say he is more a Zionist than he is anything else. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into having to explain what Zionism is. There's a lot of resources online if people want to look into that. But in these circumstances, it's a blending of Christian and Judaism. And I'm sure, Jack, you've heard the term our Christian Judeo beliefs.
Yeah.
Where they're molding those two religions together. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know
Just like
how
they
that would be
mold-
even possible. The Jews do not recognize Jesus Christ as the Son of God.
No.
And neither do the Muslims. The Muslims agree that Jesus Christ was a prophet, but
Yeah,
they
they just don't believe in the
agree.
son part.
They don't believe in the son part. Exactly. Yeah. So I think, if they're taking all these steps, baby step, and I mean, wiping out Gaza is not what I would consider a baby step. And if you want, I have my thoughts on that also.
Sure.
There was a
Share away.
reason. There was a reason why the Israelis wanted Gaza back. Now, there's a lot of theories about that. I guess there's a lot of natural gas off the coast in the Mediterranean Sea from Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally right on the Mediterranean Sea. So, do you remember when Trump was talking about, and it kind of surprised Netanyahu if you watch the video of the press conference? He says, well, we're going to go in and we're going to take Gaza over and to paraphrase, basically turn it into a resort area.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, you literally just wiped out hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children.
Yeah.
And what do you think greenlit that whole thing? The October 7th attack on Israel by
they
the
paid for.
Palestinians
That
that
they
were
paid
living
for.
in Gaza. Okay, so here's my theory on it. When you look into the nitty-gritty, and of course, a lot of this information was coming out right off the bat, right? I mean, we were all glued to the news watching it. But then knowing how the news will twist and turn things to fit their agenda, we start researching other sources and, other people that really were in the know, right? How is it possible that these Palestinian, in quotations, terrorists could pull this off? Because there was a 7-hour stand down by the Israeli IDF, which means they gave them 7 hours to do whatever they wanted to do. Now, that fence that's between Gaza and Israel is probably one of the most heaviest surveilled fence line in the world. They were saying if a stray cat walked across or anywhere near it, somebody in Jerusalem or somebody in Tel Aviv would know that. Now, granted, a lot of people will say, well, they flew over with these paraglides. Okay, I'll give that to you. But there was instances where they were driving like APCs, armored personnel carriers, and backhoes and loaders and bulldozers right through the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently you can be anywhere in Israel within 45 minutes, or let's just say less than an hour, by helicopter to combat any type of insurgency that's happening in Israel. So why did it take 7 hours?
Yeah.
And that music festival that was right near the Gaza border, that was supposed to be somewhere else, but at the last minute they said, "Oh, we can't have it here.
Yeah.
You have to have it there."
Yeah.
Dude, they sacrificed those people.
Exactly.
To me, it's nothing more than a fucking textbook false flag operation.
Absolutely.
Where Israel said, okay, and not only that, the people of Israel were getting really tired of Netanyahu, and they had scheduled protests all over Israel to get rid of him.
I think his trial's resuming now.
So here's the major distraction, right? This whole deal is a major distraction.
Yeah.
But now I forget what I was going to say before. I always derail myself sometimes. But, okay, I know what it was. So Israel wants to take control of Gaza. And we already know how they fuck with the people in the West Bank. I mean, the West Bank is supposed to be for Palestinians. And I'm sure everybody has heard the term, a Jewish settlement.
Yeah.
So what these Jews do is they're moving into the West Bank and setting up towns.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be the same as a bunch of us building a beautiful housing project smack in the middle of an Indian reservation.
Very much.
Jack, it's the same thing.
Yeah, very much same thing.
So anyway, they wanted Gaza for whatever reason, and I mean, we can bring into that prophecy thing that they talked about in that previous post. But the only way they could do it without looking like the bad guy, although ultimately they made themselves look like the bad guy in the eyes of literally billions of people. I mean, there's 8 billion people on the earth, or at least that's what we're being told.
Yeah.
But they said the only way we can make this happen is if there is some type of heinous terrorist attack based out of Gaza, perpetrated in Israel. So then we would be greenlit to go in there and lay waste to the whole place. So that's what they did, in my opinion. That's exactly what they did, because there was no reason for a 7-hour stand down. There was no reason for countless things that had happened. The Israeli government, just to prove how fucking evil they are and how hell-bent on world control they are, and they do control the world.
That's becoming abundantly clear for everybody.
Well, we can go back. We can go back into world history and talk a little bit about that. But they left their citizens out to dry, out to be sacrificed, like some form of sacrificial ceremony.
Well, they're finding that a lot of the rounds were coming from the IDF.
I think the IDF got bagged shooting some of their own people, honestly.
Oh yeah, they're finding a lot of people died from those helicopter rounds, and Hamas wasn't flying helicopters.
Yeah, and so anyways, it's like a whole big show. Like, we're all watching the show. I mean, in the first few days, Israel had the support of the whole world. Well, not the whole world, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was their 9/11.
And okay, so then of course, United States money starts getting pumped into Israel, which
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe was another reason that the United States could be sending all this money to Israel because they could play it off as, oh, it's aid to help them to fight back against the Palestinians.
Of
But
course, they
here's
gotta
the
fight back. That's
but
you
here's
gotta fight terrorism.
so here's something that a lot of listeners might not know. I don't know the actual numbers, but it's substantial amount of congressmen and senators in the United States government are actually dual citizens with Israel. There are members, or at least one that I know of, member of Congress that when this was happened showed up to Congress in his IDF uniform. So as far as I know, it's pretty hard to serve two masters. So what master were they serving when they were voting on all these massive billions and billions of dollars worth of aid to be sent to Israel, which is our tax money?
Yeah.
And we had no say where our tax money was going to go.
Yeah.
And as soon as a lot of information was getting discerned and people were figuring out, whoa, wait a minute, just like 9/11, something doesn't smell right here. Okay, what do you got here? You got a search going on.
This is from Grok, so I don't know if how
Grok-
biased it's going to be. There's no official or definitive number of current U.S. members of Congress, senators,
Yeah,
or
see,
representatives who hold
that's
dual
horseshit.
citizen. Bullshit. Lies.
Yeah, that's horseshit.
Known
They know
cases. They've got 2 known cases. That's it.
Yeah. No, I want to say,
No,
I mean,
it's way bigger than that.
even Chuck Schumer has dual citizenship with Israel.
Yeah.
So yeah, Grok has gotten a lot better, but you got to remember, and this is something that David Icke brought up just the other night on the Higher Side chats. Now, I could tell you right now, that fucking guy is the OG of the OGs.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to conspiracy theories. And he has perfect idea on what's going on here as what pertains to formerly Twitter. That X is just a platform that is controlled by the elite, the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want, whatever your poison is or what you want to call that. I call them the they thems. So therefore, it would make sense that on sensitive questions like the one you just asked, Grok, they're going to come back with a bullshit answer, which they did, because you can go on other sites and it'll tell you exactly who in Congress, who in Senate has dual citizenship with Israel. And I'll tell you what, between that and AIPAC, which is the Israel lobby, which got out of being classified as a lobbyist organization, they freaking control this government. And the more that I read, the more that I learn, I think they control Donald Trump as well through Jared Kushner and the other high-ranking Jews from Israel that have encircled themselves around Donald Trump. Now, listen, for me to say that's pretty heavy duty because I was a heavy duty Trump supporter. I voted for him all 3 times. So take from that whatever you will, right? But yeah, so it's kind of crazy. And then of course, and I know you want to get into Iran a little bit, and we can do that whenever you're ready. Now, I have limited knowledge on what's currently happening over there.
Oh,
but I do.
It's a shit show, man.
Yeah, I do have some knowledge of how it all started over there because I was in high school at the time, and I was pretty in tune in high school. I was I was pretty much into stuff. I could understand things like I want to say I was a junior in high school, which I would have been pretty young. I was 15 years old at the beginning of my junior year in high school. So, uh, so we can get into that, or we can get into whatever you want. But
Yeah, no.
uh,
What was going on in Iran when you were in high school?
okay,
Tell us about
so
Ronnie's high school.
okay, so I graduated high school in 1981. The Islamic Revolution took place, I want to say, in 1979. So Iran was ruled by the Shah, which is, I think, just another word for king. And he was very good to his people, but he also ran a very tight ship, kind of like Saddam Hussein, but maybe not quite as bad. Because Saddam Hussein ran basically an apartheid type government, because Saddam Hussein was a Sunni, and the Sunnis in Iraq were outnumbered by the Shiites. Now, Iran is predominantly Shiite. And that's the difference between like Hezbollah and Hamas, for instance, just to give you a quick one. Like Hezbollah, but they're both funded by Iran, or were, I should say. And actually, I think Hamas was kind of funded by Israel,
Yeah.
which in turn means they were funded by the U.S. taxpayer.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's just like anything. I think Israel needed a boogeyman. Like we all need a boogeyman, right? We have boogeyman all the time. And, at first it's COVID. And now allegedly it's aliens. That's the big one now that we're getting.
Aliens and
Yeah.
Muslims.
Yeah, in Muslims for sure.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at a lot of things that have happened in the United States and terrorist things that have happened, yes, they're all perpetrated. Well, let's say, I don't want to ever say all, but let's say 90+% are perpetrated by Muslims, right? Okay, but I think what it all comes down to is we're watching a big show and we're watching things unfold, and I won't call it end times, but it could be end times 2.0. When you talk about the Antichrist coming through, presumably what we're guessing, I mean, we're all just guessing, coming through what is now Gaza. Well, people can interpret that a million different ways and say, oh, well, there you go. They're going to usher in the Antichrist, their third or last Messiah or whatever. I mean, if you start getting into the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, or even the the Talmud, because the Torah is, and I think people think the Torah is something on its own, but the Torah is basically what we know as the Old Testament in the Bible.
Right.
Right. So that's the Torah. But there's also what they call the Talmud, which is entirely something different.
That's the other one.
And then they got the Kabbalah on top of that. So unless you plan on having a couple of years to research and study all this shit, it's going to be pretty hard to wrap your head around what's going on.
Right.
But it's looking to me like the slow roll to where Israel is just going to take over the rest of Israel. And not only that, are you familiar with what they call the Greater Israel Project?
Yes.
So they want to start consuming and spreading, kind of like Hitler did in World War II. He needed more room for his people.
Ironic.
And so you're talking, and I don't know how they would. The only way they could ever pull this off is with the support of the United States, and even then it would be questionable.
Yeah.
But they're talking. They want to go into Syria. They want to go into Saudi Arabia. They want to go into Egypt by way of the Sinai Peninsula. They want to expand their borders past the Golan Heights, which was also another piece of land that's questionable who actually owns it. But Israel took control of it during the war of the Golan Heights War, which I don't know if it was the 6-Day War or not. It very well could have been. but they want to spread all the way up into Ukraine. Now here's where the connections start getting really interesting. As you know, Jack, I am not 100% like totally knowledgeable, but I'm pretty good on the Khazarian Empire.
Yes.
And modern day Ukraine was the seat of the Khazarian Empire back in the day.
That could be very well who we're dealing with, right?
Okay, so this is where we're going to head. So just a little background. If you look at the sigil of Baal and Moloch, it's the trident, right? And then when you look at the sigil of the Khazarian Empire, it's the same exact sigil, the trident.
I saw that comparison.
What is the symbol of Ukraine today and has been for years? It's the same exact sigil. It's the trident. Now, here's the thing with the Khazarians. The Khazarians are not Hebrew. And not only that, while we're at it, a lot of the Israeli people that live in Israel today, they're not Hebrew either. Because Hebrew is a bloodline, Judaism is a religion.
Right.
People mix those together. They're entirely different things.
Mm-hmm.
But the Khazarians had a choice to adopt one of the three Abrahamic religions. And they decided that adopting Judaism was going to be the best call. Because this is like the Crusades and before that, where the Christians and the Muslims were fighting left and right, like always at war. But nobody was really at war with the Jews, right? So they figured if we convert to Judaism, then we'll be able to just do whatever we want. We won't have to go to war with anybody. We can start migrating, consuming more land, taking over areas. And they were big on identity theft too. Like they would go in and take the identity of other people. And this is how they were able to expand to the amount that they did way into Western Europe. And there's a lot of people, a lot of scholars that say that this is not true, but there's a lot of them that say that there is. So the Khazarian Empire morphed into what we know today as the Ashkenazi Jews. So they're not they're Jewish by faith. They are not Hebrew by bloodline. So fast forward to the end of World War II in the Balfour Declaration, which was put in place so that the quote unquote Jews that survived Hitler's Holocaust would be able to go back to Israel, and Israel would be their homeland.
And they were welcome there.
So if you wrap your head around that, it's clear to see that these Jews left over from the Holocaust who aren't Hebrew migrated back to what is now Israel, because Israel didn't become Israel until 1948 through the Balfour Declaration. Now they have their own homeland, and now they declare themselves as Hebrews. Dude, they are not Hebrews.
No. The cover.
And 100%. Did you know that you cannot even do like a 23andMe or an Ancestry.com DNA test?
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Yeah.
It is illegal
Can't
in
do it.
Israel. And I feel, in my opinion, of course, as a conspiracy theorist, that the reason that is so is because if they took DNA tests, the results would prove that they have no Hebrew blood in them whatsoever.
Exactly.
So
And
they
say
are
that's
no
their claim.
longer, so they are no longer God's chosen people. And to me, they're just fucking evil people. I mean, you go back, and I can't even tell you, it's 100 and something countries that the Jews have actually gotten thrown out of. Yet Hitler gets the bad rap for that, right?
True. Very sure.
But so I think that's what we're seeing. I think what we're seeing is the expansion of the Khazarian Empire, aka the Khazarian Mafia. We already know they run all the banks. You know, they invented usury, loaning money at interest. They invented that. They control Hollywood. They control the financial system. They control the news media. And I mean, that's not conspiracy theory. Fucking look it up.
He just bought up
Take some time.
everything. Larry Ellison bought up everything.
This is the thing that I want to make clear to the listeners. Like, we give you a little information, like we're giving you surface level shit. Like, go and look into this stuff. If it really interests you, go look into it. Yeah, Larry Ellison, isn't he the one that just bought TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok, CBS, DC, Warner Brothers. I think they got HBO Max as well.
Yeah. I think you're right about that too.
They went after Netflix, but I don't think they got Netflix.
Yeah, I'm not sure on Netflix, but
Netflix is already, that's an op itself.
Oh my God, yeah. So Netflix has a connection to the I know the last name was Bernays, but it might be Edward Bernays.
Edward Bernays,
who was a CIA propagandist.
Yep.
And one of the Bernays was actually the first controlling member of Netflix. So listen, if they control what's on your screen and what content you can view, like yeah, everybody's like, well, that's not true, Ron, because we can go on Netflix and scroll until we find something we want. Yes, that's correct. But how many times do you see a movie that is presented on Netflix that has been produced by members of the cabal?
Mm-hmm.
People like Obama. You know what I mean? All those types of people, they're putting out propagandized material like the movie Civil War, like the movie.
That was a big one, yeah.
The other movie, like The Hunt, when they were hunting down conservatives.
Yes.
Or the which was a very entertaining movie. Civil War was entertaining too, but they had like a Trump-like figure that they killed in the end of the movie. As a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
But there was one other movie that the Obamas produced.
I forget I think that was
What's it called? Leave the World Behind, or something like that.
Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, so these are all what I considered what we call predictive programming, meaning, okay, all right, Jack, you're familiar with the rule of consent, right? Like if they show you what they're gonna do and you do nothing about it, they told you, so therefore they have gotten your consent to do whatever they want to do.
They use a lot of loopholes.
Yeah. It's
lots of loopholes.
It's all very interesting. So anyways, to get back to Iran. So Iran was never a Muslim country, like ever. Those people are Persians. They're not Arabs.
Yeah, there's a difference. Big difference.
There's a huge difference. And a lot of them practice, and I'm going to try to get this right, Zoroastrianism, which was a religion of its own. It was literally thousands of years old, this religion, and everybody lived fine. It wasn't a big deal. And what I'm saying is the Shah wasn't like the perfect ruler, but you could go to Tehran and you wouldn't know you weren't in the middle of fucking New York City, right?
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
I mean, it was very Americanized. And I'll tell you what, to this day, a majority of the Iranian people want to be like America. And I'll tell you what, just to get off on a little tangent, Persian women are some of the most beautiful women you will ever see in your life.
I agree.
And a lot of that is from their DNA from the army of Alexander the Great. So, and that's a lot of where, like if they have blue eyes or whatever, that's where that came from. Who was a Macedonian, basically a Greek. But anyways, so these people were not like Muslims. They were not followers of Islam or anything like that. Now, there was an Ayatollah that was living in exile in Paris, and his name was Ayatollah Khomeini. And when they decided that there was going to be an Islamic revolution where the Muslims were going to depose the Shah, and anybody else part of that, I mean, just wipe everybody out, that they would take the country over, install the Islamic theocracy, and rule the country through Islam. And that's exactly what they did.
And the United States got a cut, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, because I always wondered if them taking the U.S. embassy hostages was just some type of ruse to make it look like we weren't helping them.
Right.
Because there's a lot of theories and conspiracy theories going around that we actually fucking financed the Islamic Revolution.
Right.
Because as long as we got them into control, we could control them.
Yep.
Because Iran has a lot of resources. Like the oil that they have in Iran is like sweet crude. Like it's really nice stuff. Unlike the shit from Venezuela, the shit we have in the United States, and the shit they have in Canada. It's not oil shale. It's not oil tar. It's not what they have in Venezuela. Now, listen, Venezuela has huge oil reserves. So do we in the United States. But it takes more to process it through the refining process to get it to where it's usable, where this Iranian oil, I guess, is very similar to Saudi Arabian oil, even a little better from what I understand. And it's a really nice product, and it doesn't take as much to refine it. So it's a better grade, right?
Well, now they got it all sitting there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I do feel bad for the Iranian people. Again, like I said, they're very pro-American, and they've always been pro-American. So listen, when I was in college,
I don't know if they will be after this, though.
My roommate was an Iranian, and we had extensive discussions about this stuff because this was after this. The Islamic Revolution was in '79, and that was like 1990 that I had met this guy. Anyways, and we talked all at length about it, and I think the biggest problem that the Iranian people have with the United States is that United States gets them right to the precipice of taking their country back, and then we fucking backpedal. and I mean, the Islamic government over there literally killed 30, 40,000 of their own citizens during the uprising. And you notice we're not hearing anything about the uprising or any protests or anything on the news, like it's blacklisted.
Nothing.
You can find some stuff out on X if you go looking. Now, I did follow a bunch of accounts that were trying to get information out of there, right? Through Starlink, through Musk's satellite system. But anyways, it looks to me, sadly, that what's happening over there now is we brought them to the precipice and beyond, but we're still not helping them take their country over. Like, if we're going to get rid of the Islamic regime, dude, we got to get rid of all of them.
Well, I think that's finished now because, like, they cut the head off, and now they're doing, like, this mosaic defense where they've split into, like, 13 independent states now. So it doesn't matter who you're dealing with. You could chop one head off, and then you got another one.
Yeah, well, I think Iran put that system in place, honestly, because they had to know that this day was going to come. They had to know
they've been planning for how long?
I mean, you cannot sit there and constantly poke Israel, which in return is poking the United States, and saying how you want to wipe Israel off the map and not become a target.
Yeah.
They knew this was coming. So in my opinion, they had many contingency plans for this.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why it's not, I mean, everybody knows that we have a massive military here, but it's not always logistically viable in certain situations.
Yeah, it seems to be that way.
And I'm afraid that that's what's going on here. And now Trump comes on, gives them a deadline, negotiating deadline. You're going to agree to our terms, or we're going to take out all your infrastructure. Now, listen, to me, that's a war crime.
Yeah.
Because the people living there, the Iranian citizens who are not Muslims, who are Persians, are the ones that are going to be suffering. Do you think those fucking mothers are going to be suffering? No, they got their shit together.
They stood up and made human chains around the nuclear facilities.
Like, you can't.
Those people are not fucking around.
You cannot destroy a people's availability to clean water, to electricity.
They even say
to
that.
Hospital,
it's terrible.
to medicine. You can't. But look at it's what they did in Gaza, and they didn't have any fucking problem doing that at all.
Nobody
I mean, Gaza is
with it.
basically flat. Jack, have you seen the recent satellite photos of Gaza?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane.
When they do it side by side.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just saw that this afternoon. Hey, you know what my biggest question always was with that? When they go in and if they're going to do a cleanup operation there, where the fuck are they going to put all that stuff? All that concrete? All that
somebody's going to buy it. They'll probably sell it to China.
Yeah. For what? Can you recycle cement? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But it's a really sad situation. So they've already proven to the world that they're willing to do that. Like just the Israelis. Of course, listen, the Israelis don't do anything without American support.
Exactly.
America is never
that without us.
America is never going to tell Israel, listen, you're on your own. It's not going to happen. Because all they're going to do is vote for it in Congress. And because there's so many dual citizenships in Congress, they're going to get what they want. And not only that, and put AIPAC into the mix, they are going to get whatever they want. So that tells me that we are controlled. We are the enforcer wing of the Israeli government because that's exactly what it looks like right now.
Yep, 100%.
So what is the end game in Iran, right? Like the end game is not clear. You know, are you familiar with Michael Yon?
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Yon's been on my show multiple times. This guy knows his shit.
Yeah, he definitely does.
And he told me like a year or so ago that if they ever close the Strait of Hormuz, even for a short period of time, it's going to cause a global famine. And he's exactly correct because what are they crying about right now?
Yep.
No fertilizer for the fields to grow crops.
Even if they open it now, it's going to be years before they can get things up and running again.
Well, did you see the latest? Well, who was it? Some people in the European Union, I believe, I could be wrong on this, are begging Trump to ceasefire or whatever, or to stop the blockade of the Red Sea in the Persian Gulf.
It might have been the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni.
Is that what it was? You know what?
It could have been. I seen there was something on X with her. I don't know if do I have that here?
Yes, stand by 1 second, buddy.
You might have it.
Shit, where'd you go? There you are. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Hold on. That's not where I saw it. I apologize. Let me get you back here. All right, so inbox. It says Saudi Arabia is pressing the United States to drop its naval blockade.
Yes. Yep.
So,
I think I have
so
that in
here,
here
here's
somewhere.
here's my question.
No,
If they
Malona's
always
comment,
if
it
they
wasn't me.
always oh
Sorry about
oh go
that.
ahead.
No, no,
Go
no.
ahead, Jack. If they knew that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be such a fucking problem, then there should have been a contingency plan to build ports on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz. So the
There
Strait
was
of
no
Hormuz
plan.
would have been a nothing burger. Like who cares?
Well,
Saudi
they're trying to
Arabia's
make it
got
out
the
like
money
that.
and they had all this time to do that. As a matter of fact, they could take all that concrete in Gaza we were just talking about and ship that shit over there and expand their port. I mean, it could be done, dude. And then Saudi Arabia could ship their oil out off these ports and totally bypass the Strait of Hormuz. It's almost like they want the Strait of Hormuz to be a problem because they
Yep.
know that they can use it to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking evil, dude. It's
Look at the
evil
money they're
and it's
making right
corrupt.
now. How
It's
they're
corrupt.
manipulating the
Hello.
market.
I paid $4 a gallon for gasoline the other day in New Hampshire.
Crazy, man.
I paid $6 a gallon to put diesel in my wife's truck. That's insane.
Rough.
Heating oil in the state of New Hampshire went over $5 a gallon, and we had a cold winter. So, yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the winter. Not at all.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was ready this year, but I'm going to be extra ready this next year because I got a bunch of trees that are coming down that need to come down for a little expansion project we're doing, and I'm seriously thinking about going back to burning wood in my home. I haven't burnt wood in my home for years. I mean, I've been in my house for over 30 years, so I probably burnt wood for 15 or 20 years. Probably 25 years actually. I burnt wood in my house. Yeah, and that takes the weight off the oil bill, like for sure.
Oh yeah. Might as
But
well if you have it, right?
I burn wood at my business. I have a huge wood furnace. I have oil backup, which takes the edge off overnight. So when you come to work in the morning, it's not, 50 degrees in the shop. But yeah, I think people really need to start having contingency plans for how they're going to get through certain seasons.
Yeah.
It's like the people that are crying now, the big farmers are not going to have any fertilizer. Like fertilizer has been was an issue all the way through COVID. It was an issue during in the early days of the Ukraine war when they friggin' blew up that Nord Stream pipeline that went from Russia right to Germany. And now all these big plants like BASF that make the chemicals to make the fertilizer, because fertilizer is petroleum based. They aren't doing that. I mean, okay, how freaking blind do you have to be to see that this could be a problem a year or two down the road?
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
There's no way this is accidental. They knew that this was going to be a global problem. And I don't know, like, I think this might be the start of their reset where we're going to end up on a digital dollar eventually. Because they crashed the market and everything shits the bed. Then what do? Then they say, oh, don't worry about it. We've got a coin for you. Everybody gets coin.
Okay, so let's get into that real quick. We know that Trump is pushing for cryptocurrency, even though it's very vaguely, but he's pushing for it. Now they want to come up with this coin or that coin or the fucking Trump coin or the X coin or whatever. The typical lifespan for any financial system is 100 years.
Yeah.
And the financial system that America runs off of is the Federal Reserve System, which was invented on Jekyll Island and also was part of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which Bretton Woods is actually in New Hampshire, where they said, and this came after the Federal Reserve, obviously, but where they said that the world will operate off the US dollar and it will be backed by petroleum. It was called the U.S. petrodollar.
Yeah.
Now, the Federal Reserve System in the United States, and here's where it gets interesting. The Federal Reserve is not an entity of the United States.
Right.
The Federal Reserve is controlled by private bankers. And guess who those private bankers are? They're all Jewish, including the
Go
Rothschilds.
figure. Really?
So we are paying to have our own money printed. Then we're borrowing our own money from the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And the money's not backed by anything because it's not really backed by petroleum. It's certainly not backed by gold. Richard Nixon took us off the silver standard back in the early 70s. Our currency is what they call a fiat currency. It's not based on nothing. It's not worth the fucking paper it's written on.
No, it's magic.
It's 100% magic, smoke and mirrors. So check this out. Where the fuck does this interest come from? They call Levi Strauss and they have that cotton linen delivered to the Federal Reserve in like huge bales. Then it's processed into the paper that United States American money is printed on. So whatever it costs for that shit, whatever it costs for the ink, and whatever it costs for security and costs the employees, like that's what it costs to produce our money. Yet, once the Federal Reserve prints our money and loans it to us, now keep in mind, it's supposed to be our money to begin with, and loans it to us, we are now paying them a percentage of interest.
Yeah.
That's called money from nothing. And that's what interest, and that's what usury is. That needs to be eliminated. Now, the Federal Reserve came into being in 1912, and if you want to even go deeper into the conspiracy fucking rabbit hole, I never thought that the Titanic hit an iceberg. I think the Titanic was fucking torpedoed. And I'll tell you
about
why.
That one.
There was 3 very wealthy Americans on the Titanic.
That's right.
That opposed the Federal Reserve System. And I want to say J.P. Morgan was supposed to also be on the Titanic.
Yep.
And at the last minute, backed out.
Yep.
But these 3 individuals went down with the Titanic. And when they went down with it, so did the opposition to the Federal Reserve. And then they passed the Federal Reserve Act on a Christmas Eve when everybody was out of town. They just made sure that there were enough people in Congress and Senate to make it pass. It's a fucking scam. But
we just keep getting scammed and scammed and scammed. It's just
so that's
like, it don't stop.
That's 1912. We're in 2026, dude. We're past the 100-year mark.
Well past.
Our financial system has been on life support for a minimum of 30 years.
Yeah.
So when our financial system crashes, and honestly, it needs to.
I think it will.
But it doesn't need to transition into a crypto-based financial system where they can turn your coins off and on. It needs to go back to, instead of Federal Reserve notes, it needs to go back to American Treasury notes.
Yeah.
And our money can be backed up by precious metals. It can be backed up by our oil reserves. It can be backed up by other natural resources that are abundant in the United States. It can be done. But the problem with that is if that happens, the they-thems, the elite, the cult, as David Icke likes to call them, the cabal, will no longer be in control. And here's the other thing. If the American dollar collapses, so does the cabal.
True.
Did you see what happened when Musk did Doge and they were shutting down all these NGOs that were stealing our money? Look at how many things stopped happening then. Look at how many big podcasts decided they were going to retire because they were being backed up and propped up.
Yeah.
Look at all these systems, right down to public radio and PBS. Like they were taking this money to push a liberal communist agenda.
Yeah, I think they got. Didn't they get rid of it? They disbanded NPR and all that.
Well, it's not being funded by the government. But what happens is, unless we go to the U.S. Treasury system where we're not paying interest on our money, and unless the Federal Reserve goes away, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a world, because if the American dollar goes down, the whole world goes down. It's going to be a global, catastrophic financial fucking apocalypse is what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think that might be what they're trying to do. Look at what's happening to the petrodollar right now. Right now, they're trading, all the oil is getting traded in yuan or won, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Oh, the Chinese dollar.
Yeah. So they're bypassing the U.S. dollar, our petrodollar. It's going to be finished after this. But Trump is supposedly trying to get a stable coin deal working with the Iranians. I always have trouble how I want to say that word. Iranians. I say it all nice.
I just call it Iran.
It comes out so many different ways.
But yeah, so I mean, I think in our lifetime we're going to see a global financial apocalypse. I really do. And I'm not absolutely sure that it probably should just happen. Let's just get past it. But what do we do? What do we do coming out the other side? Like, that's the big question, right? What are we going to do out the other side?
Yeah. What
I mean, nobody has
to
an answer for
anybody
that.
that doesn't have something tangible, which is a lot of people.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a backup plan. That's a lot of people.
You know, I kind of always like the idea of how to put this. And it's kind of what they did in the movie Civil War, and it's kind of what they did in the movie Handmaid's Tale, or the show Handmaid's Tale, of the story. Is the United States is broke up into sectors. Now, you already know that the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA already have United States broke up into, I think, 5 districts.
Yeah, sectors, yeah.
And people need to learn how to do trade locally. Grow your own food. If you don't know how to grow your own food, well, come up with some resource that you can use to trade for food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, make your own local economies decoupled from Washington, D.C., and controlled by yourself. I mean, I think going forward, that's probably the best solution. It's almost like a tribal mentality, like what they have in Afghanistan, Pakistan, all the other Astans, and even Iran to some degree, where you have certain, same in Iraq, certain factions of this particular clan, well, Ireland, Scotland too, this particular clan, like, they take care of themselves, don't fuck with them. And then if there's going to be skirmishes, well, it's going to be between them over resources or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's, I mean, being a conspiracy theorist and being somebody that's relatively woken up to all this bullshit, it's almost like a curse, because
yeah, it definitely is.
The NPCs of the world,
They have no idea what's happening right now.
And they don't want to know, Jack.
No, they don't.
They don't want to know. They don't want it to interrupt them getting up, getting their coffee, going to work, and getting their fucking gold watch after 20 or 25 years.
And I respect that.
Which you can't retire after 25 years anyways, because we're being fucking taxed to death in the United States.
I like how he mocked us with the no taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I haven't seen that, the no tax on tips, turned into Well, a little tax. But and then you hear everybody talking, oh, we're going to abolish property tax. Like, listen, property tax, if it's used for the educational system, is unconstitutional. But your local governments need some money. This is where police force, fire departments,
Yeah.
shit like that, your roads, that's where that comes from. But it's such a convoluted mess, and I think it's by design that they made it so confusing for everybody that when people start to look into this and ask, where is my money going? It becomes so unbelievably overwhelming that they just drop it and say, you know what? I'm going to stick my head back in the sand and I'm just going to live my life and I'm going to go without a lot of stuff that I need. And I'm going to have to work more, multiple jobs or more hours, which in turn means more taxes. Dude, it's a one big catch 22.
Yep.
That's why the system kind of needs a reset.
The
Not
hamster
kind of,
wheel.
it definitely needs a
Without
reset.
doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't mean to take over the mic here. If you want to,
No, man.
I mean, it's your show, dude. If you want to jump in, go for it.
No, Ron, I had you here to speak, man. You just take the mic and go.
Well, you got to be
good.
careful because I will keep going.
It's all good. Yeah, no, I personally believe like they're destroying everything, and I don't know if this is necessarily the biblical end. I know they're trying to bring on the biblical end, or they're trying to use that as a means to get their way, but this is I don't know, I feel like this is only the start of something a lot bigger.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. Charlie Kirk gets murked. They play the video endlessly on X for the whole world to see. And I think they did that for a reason, so that everybody would believe he was dead. Now, I know that's a far out theory, but it's my theory. What happened after that? There was an explosion of people adopting Christianity, people buying Bibles. Now, I don't mean just the United States. I mean like UK, everywhere. And a resurgence of Christianity. Buddy, for full disclosure, I go to church at least three times a month. And I don't remember the churches being that full ever. I don't remember churches having a Saturday night. Now I'm talking non-denominational Protestant churches.
Okay.
Having a Saturday night service and two services on a Sunday. And almost every church is doing that. And I mean, you can go to Catholic Mass any fucking day of the week. I mean, it might be one day during the week at our Catholic churches you can't go to Mass. So there's a resurgence in that. And you have to ask yourself, while on one side of the coin, you're like, well, that's really cool because people really need to learn this stuff and adopting some of the scriptures in their life, and it might help them to deal with all the bullshit that we're going through. And I gotta say, it does help.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Without God, I would not be here.
Yeah, so you understand what I'm saying, right?
Like
100%. I've been into religion for a long time, but I never considered myself religious until, recently, like the last few years.
Yeah, same here.
Now, yes, I smoke, I drink, I cuss, I do all that shit. We're all sinners. But it's if you study and you follow and you live as a good person. Now, I'm a good person. I have good morals, right? And I know what's right or wrong. Like, I know what's right or wrong right out of the box without even going to church, right? It's just the kind of man that I am. But when you see such the resurgence of this, it's massive. So then you ask yourself, because you're good at pattern recognition, why is this happening? Now, every time we used to, now maybe not so much now, but leading up to the election, Trump was very God this, God that, God this, God that, right? So was that just a ruse to gain the Christian conservative vote?
Maybe.
I mean, because it worked.
Yeah.
Look at how many Christian conservative social media accounts there are, and 80% of them are hot chicks. So yeah, their accounts freaking blow up. And but I'm saying I'm into patterns. I see patterns, and I see what's going on, but I don't know the answer to why. Or I should say I don't have a definitive answer as to why. So yeah, I mean, so we can kind of go with that. I mean, it's just the explosion of Christianity in the United States and the UK is pretty phenomenal. I kind of wish I knew what it was like in like Australia or New Zealand, stuff like that. We probably could reach out to Drew and find the answer to that out. But
I think I heard Bible sales were up like 400%.
in the United Kingdom.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, in the UK. Yeah, for sure. I saw that report too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just so much to discern right now. There's so much to try to figure out and put the puzzle pieces together. Now, some pieces of the puzzle go together really nice. Other ones don't. So we have to kind of figure that out.
Yeah,
and I don't
think
I honestly don't know where it's going to go. And I'm pretty clever on that stuff, and I do think about it.
yeah, we're
but
definitely in for a ride.
yeah,
We're definitely in for a ride. Because I don't think this thing's ending anytime soon. Plus, then, next up, we have the rest of the show, the Democrats coming into power. So that's going to be the next shit show.
you
It's
think the
turned out to
Democrat do you really think the Democrats are going to get back into power? Because I don't see it happening.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling like this whole, like the Republicans are going to get blamed for everything that Trump does. And they're all going to go down for it. Even though it's, it's really not like that.
You
got part of them that want the war on both sides. And the couple, the little few, the silent majority, they like how many congressmen, women don't take AIPAC money? Isn't there like 2 or 3?
It's very few.
So those are the only unbiased votes that you're gonna have.
And those are the ones that get attacked. So let's give you a couple examples. Thomas Massey doesn't take any AIPAC money.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie doesn't take it either. And look at how she's got attacked.
Yeah.
She's got attacked so much that she's going to fucking resign. Or I should say she's not going to run again. I'll tell you what, I love that bitch. And she is a pit bull, and she's America first. And when she ever got dissed by Trump, that fucking hurt her.
Yeah.
And I think her eyes were open. Look at how Trump attacks Thomas Massey.
Terrible.
And those are the 2 most genuine people in our government you're ever going to find.
Well, everybody sees through that too, though.
That should be an indication of what exactly or what is possibly happening. Our government is not the government for by and for the American people. Our government is by and for the people of Israel, and not just the people, not the people of Israel, the freaking pricks that run Israel.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
yeah, it's crazy.
We've been occupied. We've definitely been occupied.
Perfect explanation. Yeah, for sure. We are under Israeli occupation.
Let me see. I got something. I got something that rings a little bit like that. Let's see. I had a post that had something to do with Israel. There it is. Okay, we have a Zionist message to Americans. Okay? Now, I'm trying to find out who this is actually coming from. They have an Israeli flag behind them, and their message is anyone who criticizes Israel is the enemy. There's a post from Junior over on TwiX. We will monitor you with Google. Let me see if she actually speaks English.
Target Jewish students. Your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that thanks to Google and SEO will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented, again thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs, some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side. But the fight is bigger than the exposure, and it's about securing a future where Jewish students can walk across the quad without being screamed at, a future where employers understand that anti-Semitism is not activism, it's bigotry, and it will cause you to lose your job.
Now,
Target Jewish students. Your actions will not.
They've turned it so anything that they define that they don't want to hear is anti-Semitic. Now, by her definition right there, the fact that me saying that Israel is the one calling the shots and they're the one that got us into this war is deemed anti-Semitic. So I should be followed around for the rest of my life. What is that?
So what happened to freedom of speech?
Yeah, what happened to the First Amendment?
Define what hate speech is. Now, this is the same playbook as, oh, you're being racist. Oh, you're being homophobic. There's states, I think Florida too, believe it or not, is wanting to pass laws where if you say something anti-Semitic, well, somebody's going to be knocking on your door.
Ron DeSantis went to Israel to sign that into law. He did it in Israel.
Yeah. So listen, you should be able to disagree with what the nation and the people running those nations is doing. That's free speech.
Yeah.
If you come out and you say, oh, them fucking Jews ought to be put in gas chambers and I fucking hate Jews. If you say shit like that, okay, that could be deemed as anti-Semitic, like for sure.
Completely different. There's malicious intent.
But but criticizing a government for doing the things that they do, depending on what your viewpoint on that is, like what they did to Gaza, for instance, that can't be construed as being anti-Semitic. But where do they draw the line, right? So it's the same thing when you say somebody's racist.
Yeah, keep moving the line.
So if they had their way, any type of speech that talks bad about Israel, even if it's correct, in their eyes could be considered to be anti-Semitic speech, and therefore open you up for who knows what.
I think that's where we are.
Yeah, well, it's definitely where we are. It's definitely where we are.
That's
Hey,
where
listen,
we are right now.
on my podcast hosting company, I won't say the name of it, but they have analytics, right? And you can go on to analytics and you can get a percentage of who from what country is listening to your show. Now, there's a lot of countries that pop up, probably due to VPN and everything. We all understand that. We're not stupid. But the last time we had done a series of shows on some of the things that Israel was doing. We talked about the AIPAC. We talked about the dual citizenship and people in Congress and Senate. And lo and behold, I noticed that there was 3 or 4 entities in Israel that are on my list of countries that listen to Wicked Planet. Now, you know that ain't happening, right? And here's the other thing too, little heads up for other podcasters, because this is what I believe is the case. Now, when I use Spotify to upload my show, and I upload it to my host and they shoot it out to Spotify, they shoot it to Apple, iHeart, the whole long list. But they started transcribing the shows. And once the show is transcribed, that means that whoever system, presumably AI system, that is transcribing your show, because it's the only way they could do it as accurate as they do and as quickly as they do, they know what you're saying. So then in return, like on Spotify, they can limit your reach. And David Icke had an interesting thing that he brought up that the CEO of X actually said. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of reach. You're free to say whatever you want, but it's up to us to decide how far to the masses it gets.
Remember that one.
And that's why shows like yours, shows like mine, shows like a whole other group of shows that are in our podcast buddy circle. I mean, we've got good numbers. I mean, a lot of people listen to our show, but it's nothing compared to what it should be. And yet somebody can pop out of the bushes and have a massive platform with huge guests. That's not organic in any way.
No, definitely
So
not. You could tell
they're pushing out their agenda through these controlled opposition podcasts.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of podcasters that were really like beginning in 2020 and 21. I mean, Wicked Planet didn't start till 21, but I was on a podcast for like 50 episodes called The Dangerous World out of Tucson, Arizona.
I used to listen to that.
Like right in 2020,
Ryan Dean.
Yeah, Ryan Dean, exactly.
Yeah.
And then other podcasts like Legit Bat, and the list goes on. A lot of the ones that I actually started out on before I even started Wicked Planet. Like those shows got out there back then, but they got smart. The they-thems got smart, and they're like, wow, what are these guys fucking saying?
Yeah.
Because I know on Spotify in the beginning, they had to be listening to your show first, because once in a while you'd get a notice about something you may have said. Now, they don't do that anymore. They stopped doing that because I think that exposes themselves, right?
Yeah.
But now, we offer transcription now. Well, of course you do, because now you know what we're saying.
Yeah.
And that's where freedom of speech is okay, because they're not telling us we can't say it, but freedom of reach is a whole other ballgame. So something to ponder. Listen, Jack, they don't want us talking about certain shit. And anything to do with the Israeli government right now is a no-go zone.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Did you see this right here? Trump is working to have Congress right now. What is it? Let me just read it. This is from Justin Amash. The man who spent years whining that the government illegally spied on his campaign is now demanding Congress let him spy on every American without a warrant. FISA 702 is the real threat to Americans' privacy. Warrantless surveillance of U.S. persons under the guise of targeting foreigners, far bigger than the Title I abuse Trump complains about. He posted, I am not going to read it. It's a long one. You guys want to read it? You're welcome to his truth posts. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. What do you think of that, Ronnie? I think that we are living in a dystopian future.
Well, I think we've already been there. It's 1984. Yeah. It's 1984 on steroids.
This is crazy, man.
I recently talked about this with the guys over on Conspiracy Chaos, and we can get into it a little bit if you want to wrap up.
Yeah, definitely.
But anybody that doesn't think that we are under surveillance 24/7 is have their head up their ass.
They don't have their phone in their pocket.
Because you have your phone, which is always listening, and I don't care what kind of phone it is.
You got some of your,
if you have appliances that are hooked to the internet for quote unquote convenience, so you can look inside your refrigerator when you're at the store. I mean, mine does that. My refrigerator's got a freaking tablet on it.
Your Wi-Fi devices can help map your house.
It geo-maps your house, and it maps where people are in your house. And it says these people are in this part of the house at this time of day. I mean, dude, we all have our routine. I know I do.
Yep.
I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is I go downstairs and I make coffee. Well, the first thing I do is I let my dogs out, and then I go make coffee, and then I make sure the kid's up so she can get on the bus, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't have any Alexas in my house, but we used to. You know, they're listening. You brought it up earlier, and you're 100% correct. Your TV is listening, and
sometimes watching,
possibly watching.
Yeah.
But here is what all these devices are doing, including your Nest cameras, your Ring cameras, and there's one other one.
Blink.
So when all your cameras on the outside of your home or on the inside of your home, if you have a nanny cam or whatever, how do you access what's going on in your home or around your home in real time? Well, it has to be hooked to the internet so you can do that, right? So it's hooked up by Wi-Fi. So all that information is going into a database. Everything you select to watch on Netflix or HBO or on Hulu or on Amazon, any of those apps, they log all that, and that's how they come up with your suggestions of things to watch based on what you've watched previously. And then they could take all that information and compile it into a dossier on you as a person to figure out what your mannerisms are, what your thought processes are, what your likes and dislikes are, what your criminal activity is. And not only that, now they have pictures of your face. Because when you're outside in your yard and you're doing yard work or you're partying or in your pool or doing whatever, those cameras are from time to time getting really good shots of your face. And not only your face, but your body. And you are being mapped out. They know exactly what we're doing. And that's not even getting into modern cars that now they mandated the kill switch in so they can shut your car off anytime they want. And that's a whole other discussion, a whole other rabbit hole. But they compile all this information, dude. They know what you're doing. They know when you're home. They know when you've left to go to work. They know basically what time you're going to get home. I mean, not me because I don't have a regular schedule, but I always leave the house at pretty much the same time every day. So they know what you're doing. And not only that, they know where you are and where you're going because of your phone. And even if you turn off location services, they still know. We are under surveillance. We're in an open air prison where we're taught that we're free when in actuality, we are not. Now, here's another thing that people don't think about.
Facts.
When they push to get rid of cash, they made it really convenient for people, right? And this is because money doesn't really exist. This is the whole like process here. Put your money in the bank. When you get paid, do direct deposit. It's nice and easy. You don't have to get a check and bring it to the bank and wait for it to clear. Your place of business where you work can direct deposit right into your bank account. Same thing with people that are on SSI or Section 8 or EBT or any of the above. And we're just going to give you this card and you're going to have access to your account. You just need to keep track of what's in it so you don't, go overboard. And people are like, wow, that's cool. I don't have to carry cash so nobody can rob me. That was the big thing they were pushing for. So everybody's walking around with this piece of plastic in their pocket for convenience. Again, it's all about convenience, Jack. That's the whole ruse here.
It's always sold as convenience.
And you can use your card to go online. You can use your card to buy gasoline. You can use your card to buy groceries. So now they know what you're buying for food. They know what you're buying for gas. They know what you're buying for food, so they can add that to your dossier and say, oh, these people eat a lot of red meat. They eat a lot of chicken. They buy a lot of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that are buying guns and ammunition with debit cards or credit cards, well, they fucking know that you have that now too. And I don't care if you say, oh, I got it in a vault or I got it in a secret place. They know where it is. And who's to say that there's not some form of tracking chip in every gun that's being sold?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Jack, did you see the report recently where they're going to start doing some type of location technology or ID technology on every bullet casing there is?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I see, like a serial number or some kind of identification.
Yeah, like laser imprinted or some form of chip or something. Yeah, some microchip.
That's crazy.
But it's like, okay, you can have your Second Amendment, no problem. You can have as many guns as you want, but we're going to know fucking every one that there is. And when the problem comes and it's time to come and start rounding up all the guns and they show up to your house and they go, listen, here's a list of guns you have. We need them. What are you talking about? I don't have any of those guns. Oh, really? Look at this piece of paper here. If you don't let us in your house, we'll come in your house in our manner with dogs and we will fucking destroy your house. So you might as well just tell us where your guns are now. And maybe if things go well, you won't get shot in the process. And maybe if you're really lucky, we won't shoot your dog just because we like to shoot dogs.
Yeah, that's number one. Pregnant women, women holding babies, dogs, teenagers.
Jack, this is the shit that nobody thinks of.
This is the times we're in.
And the push to get rid of cash is very clear because think about this. You go to work for company XYZ. You put your time in. If you get paid every week or every 2 weeks, whatever your pay period is. You don't have to get a check from them. They could use ADP or whatever payroll system big companies use. And your money is deposited directly into your bank account on Thursday afternoon, and it's there by 4 p.m. every single week or every other 2 weeks. You're like, cool, my money's landed, so now I can go shopping. At what time do you actually see any real greenbacks, any cash? unless you take money
Rare.
out of an ATM, and a lot of ATMs have restrictions on it. Like you can only take so much money out of the ATM per day. And that's because fractional reserve banking. The banks don't have the money on their ledger. They only need to have a percentage of that money on their ledger. If they say we have, let's just throw a number out there so it's real easy. We have $1 million in assets. Well, I think if the math is correct, they only have to have 100,000 or 200,000 on hand, right?
Yeah, I think it's around 10% right now. Yeah,
I think it's 10% also. Yeah. So these fuckers are loaning money that they don't have.
They're creating currency every time that they lend the money out. They're creating more fucking money. They have a money machine.
And that's why it's all smoke and mirrors. The
Fucking
money
bullshit.
doesn't exist. You don't see no money.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, so it'd be real easy. Everybody's afraid of the crypto coin, and I understand that, but we're in the same position right now.
If everybody went into a crypto coin, we'd be fucking cool.
Well, everybody's like, excuse me, they can
But
turn off your crypto.
You got to go into a coin that can't be controlled.
Right, a decentralized coin. Yeah, but you know what? They talk about that, but every coin is centralized because unless you can use coins peer-to-peer, which was the big hope for XRP and the Ripple chain,
Yeah.
the whole XRP pump and dump or whatever the fuck you want to call it, they can turn your coins off. Yeah, sure. And I mean, depending on what platform you have holding, your crypto, those are just banks. They restrict how much you can take. So, you don't have any free reign with your money. Well, it's the same thing. A debit card is no different, Jack. Because all they're going to do is press a button and freeze your card. And guess what? You ain't getting shit.
They froze the accounts of those truckers in Canada during COVID.
Yeah. Through the trucker
They didn't need crypto to do anything.
Yeah.
They
So
just froze
these things have already been put in place over the last 20 years. It was the slow roll. It's to put the frog in the cold water and turn the water on low and increase the heat as it goes. And before the frog knows it's cooked, it's cooked.
We're cooked.
We're almost cooked.
We are
right
cooked.
now, and it's all going to coincide with the financial collapse, which probably should have already happened, except for it's propped up artificially because there's nothing needed to back up the currency. So as long as they can print money, and this is what the term quantitative easing means.
I think a lot of this war is also to stimulate the economy as well.
Well, I think it is too, and it's also to pump up the industrial complex, right? The military industrial complex, right? Because they need to make money, because if they're not making money, if they're not making planes, trains, ammunition, missiles, rockets, GPS, satellites,
it's the equivalent
warfare
of
satellites, drones.
Of a bank bailout.
Yes. And then all the people that work for these companies, they don't have no work. They're not getting paid. If there's no wars going on in the world that the United States is involved in, that is clearly not good for our economy. Hey, what was the joke? The joke always used to be in my younger days. Oh, the United States economy is not doing so good. Must be time to get into a war.
Yep. Exactly.
And it's absolutely 100% accurate.
Yeah.
It's a cluster fuck is what it is, my friend.
We're fucked. We're fucked. And on that note, we're going to be getting out of here, folks.
I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun.
I am sure that everybody is going to love this episode. And I have to thank you once again for joining us, Ron. It was awesome, man.
No problem.
A lot of fun, bro.
I've been looking forward to this, actually, since we first talked about it. I'm glad I come on.
I wish we got on earlier, and we definitely got to do it again sometime soon.
Yeah, anytime. Hit me up.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll tell you the same thing.
We can get off the whole Iran topic and talk about some other bullshit.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I can go on almost any subject.
I can tell.
So I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell other podcasters that I like, and I like you.
I like you too, Ronnie. I love you, buddy. I feel this kinship with you. You're like this uncle that I never had. And you're only like 10 years older than me. So the math doesn't work.
Actually, I'm about 20 years older than you, but...
You're not in your 60s, are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm 60. I'm going to be 63 this year.
Really?
Yeah. I don't look it, though, do I?
No.
I'm always told that. Whatever. But anyway, so I appreciate that. But listen, Jack, just on a personal note, I want to thank you. I know you've been a Wicked Planet listener for a long time.
Long time, buddy.
Yeah, and I know you listen to the shows. You're a big fan, and I appreciate all my listeners. I really appreciate when other podcasters have Wicked Planet in their rotation. That means a lot to me. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I hope your listeners... Yeah, you're welcome, dude. I mean, I hope the Network Failure fans, if they're not familiar with Wicked Planet, or if they want to come and check me out, man. Hit the follow button and
definitely
see what we got to say.
Guys, I have not steered you wrong once, have I? Thank you. All right, folks. Well, that was a banger. Thank you so much to Ron from New England, the Wicked Planet podcast. If you have not checked out Wicked Planet, go and check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Wicked Planet's there. Go check it out. And thanks again, Ron. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. And thank the merciful Lord that we are here for the end. Because the end is here, folks. Keep it tight. No, seriously. Have a great week, all right? I'm going to get out of here. Love y'all. Peace.